Airlines have spent today clearing a backlog of passengers stranded in fog-stricken Wellington after a day of chaos. Late this afternoon, people were finally catching their flights and fraying tempers were improving. It was a long old wait for some. Eric Frickberg reports.
Passengers stranded for a night in a crowded airport were in some cases stoical, in others angry, and in some cases upset.
We had to wait a long time to reschedule. The accommodation that was available in the end was over $600 a night.
They said that they can't do nothing.
We knew there was chaos, but we had no idea what's going on.
Some people had nowhere to go unless they paid for accommodation themselves, which sometimes couldn't be found even if they were willing to pay the bill, which was sometimes large. For many, bed last night was the hard floor of an airport terminal. The Mayor of Wellington, Justin Lester, at first raised the possibility that the city's welfare centres could be available for a crisis. But he then said Wellington's fog-bound airport wasn't a big enough crisis to clear the hurdle.
Our welfare centres are there for situations of emergency. It's not an emergency when you've only had fog that's been there for a day. It's a situation that's unfortunate. No one wants to be in that position, of course, but at the same time, we've got to make sure that there's a threshold that's crossed.
The airlines were unsympathetic, saying passengers needed to make their own arrangements. Air New Zealand said rebooking or refunding was available when flights were cancelled for reasons within its control, such as engineering issues. For weather-related problems, though, customers should consult the conditions on their tickets, and it urged them to take out travel insurance as protection. Jetstar said it aims to get passengers to their destination by the next available flight during weather disruption, but it says it can provide overnight accommodation for disruptions within its control, such as engineering issues. The Chief Executive of Tourism Industry Aotearoa, Chris Roberts, says travel disruption in New Zealand sometimes can't be helped.
Obviously New Zealand has pretty volatile weather and all of our airports are subject to disruption from time to time. It's just a fact of life. The airports and the airlines can only do their very best to cope in those situations, and hopefully it hasn't disrupted people's enjoyment of their visits too much.
More than 100 flights were cancelled yesterday by fog, and flights resumed this morning. To help clear the backlog, Air New Zealand put on a large capacity Boeing 777 to take delayed people from Wellington to Auckland. Some flights were diverted to Palmerston North. The Chief Executive of Kapiti Coast Airport, Robert Binney, says his airport was able to take in some passengers headed for the capital in smaller Air New Zealand planes.
Kapiti Coast Airport was able to accommodate 7 diverted passenger service aircraft. The largest was a Dash 8 Q300 Bombardier, operated by Air New Zealand. That carries up to 50 passengers. Other aircraft diverted included smaller ones ranging from 6 and 12-seat aircraft.
Meteorologists say this type of weather pattern will bring fog to the capital about 6 times a year. Meanwhile, civil aviation laws say pilots can't land unless they can see Wellington runway from an altitude of 450 feet. This is for safety reasons, even though big modern planes can land on instrumentation alone if needed. For Checkpoint, Core Eric Frickberg, 10A.